It's Tuesday morning on the morning review right here at Prime Media TV. I am Ayo, bringing you all of the headlines we have to be reviewed with you this morning. And as always, I have quite a number of headlines to be reviewed with you today. I'll take you through the front page of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. The federal government, this headline says, FG must sustain reforms in spite of hardship on Nigerians, World Bank. The World Bank Vice President and Chief Economist, Mr. Indamit Gill, said yesterday that the federal government should sustain ongoing reforms despite the hardship on Nigerians, while also commending the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) for the unification of the exchange rate. Gill called on the federal government to provide cost-effective safety net to protect the most vulnerable people from the harsh impact of the reforms. And here's the conversation that we are diving into today. Emphasis on the fact that the Nigerian government should ensure to sustain the reforms in spite of the hardship on the Nigerian people. I have with me in the studio my co-host who will be analyzing the story with me, Unwachuku Treasure. Good morning. How are you doing today?
Morning, I'm fine.
All right, so let's look at the story that is right before us this morning. The federal government must sustain reforms in spite of hardship on Nigerians. What are you saying to this story? What was the first thing that came to your mind? Secondly, from what perspective do you think this conversation is coming from? That at all costs, the reforms must be sustained, regardless of how it is impacting the Nigerian people.
Okay, firstly, I would like to. When I got the story, one first thing that came to my mind was, where is this man speaking from? Is he in Nigeria? Does he know how harsh? It's easy to talk about a thing, so lightly when you are not feeling it. You cannot know how hot a place is if you are not there. The pain of somebody, but only the bearer of that pain, only the person wearing that shoe knows how painful it is. All right. So the man talking, where is he speaking from? Is he in Nigeria? Is he being affected? All right. And you see, talking about most vulnerable, I love the fact there are things they are acknowledging here. Harsh policy. When a thing is harsh, it's just like an environment is polluted. For example, we are in a place and the place is polluted. It does not affect anybody most. It affects everybody. All right. When there is any form of environmental pollution, everyone in that vicinity is affected generally. So there is nothing like most vulnerable in these harsh policies. Everybody has been affected. I do want to talk about companies that have been in existence for years that has closed down as a result of these industries that have been functional, that has employed people, that has existed for long, that knows the system. You cannot say they don't know about business. They've crashed. So there is nothing like anybody or some people being most vulnerable. These policies is harsh on everybody, and that is why citizens are crying. So talking about where this conversation may be coming from, there is nothing these our leaders cannot do. On a serious note, these people can actually go to the point of influencing somebody to speak in their interest. Honestly, because you cannot be talking and you are dishing out a thing. It's just like you are giving out food to a child that is not hungry. You know that this child is not hungry, and you say you still want to dish out this food. That means you want the food to be wasted. So when you are doing a thing and it's affecting the people, at least you should take a pause and see how better can we do this so it will not affect people. So saying that the thing must be accomplished with or without how, if the impact, the effect on the people is a thing that we need to look into to know where that is coming from.
You see, the reason why I was asking question on the perspective this is coming from is that we know that where we are today is as a result of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu removing fuel subsidy completely. When he said subsidy was gone in May 2023, and it is just I'm just trying to see where this man is coming from. That there are a lot of persons, because I over the weekend, the first lady was saying something like that too. That there are people who try to remove the subsidy, but it did not succeed. Succeed actually. And here they are, they've removed the subsidy, and Nigerians are feeling the pain and all of that. So I'm just trying to see the benefits on the long run, the likely benefits, because he is talking about the vice president of World Bank. He was saying that the essence of this pain is for an aftermath, is for something that will happen on the long run. It is for the over 100 million children who would be growing up to, so that they would come out to meet something sustainable, they will come out to meet something that is working. And I'm just trying to see here what exactly it is that we are looking forward to. And the Nigerian government has, because all of these reforms, you're just hearing reforms, policies,
Sorry,
it must
Ayo.
be sustained, but
Sorry.
there is no clarity as regards what exactly we are going through all of these pains for.
The truth is, why considering the future, you still need to have a system that sustains the present people. All right, you are talking about what, but the policy is already killing some people now. So if you have intention to do a thing, if you have a good intention that will bring about future benefits, at least now determines the future. Now determines the future. It is those that lives that will benefit. So if this we have we have leaders or system that so that's an administration that is based on talking. They come out to say things that is not aligned with their action. They come out to say things that people that of course not all Nigerians are listening to reading papers and listening to news. They come out to say things that maybe foreign people, international bodies can read and say, yes, these people are working. Currently, so many people are finding it difficult to survive in the country. So what is now the tendency, the assurance, what is the possibility that, yes, in the future, now it is those that live that we benefit to talk about the future. People need to sustain, people need to be alive to talk about benefiting from whatever policy. So if it is cannot take care of the people now, yes, the vice president, the first lady mentioned of some people trying to remove the subsidy before now and they couldn't succeed because even the non-president then was among the people that ensured that they protested and destabilized their efforts. All right. So it was not as if those people then could not do it well. They were frustrated. Their efforts were frustrated. All right. So the policy that will take care of the future should at least begin now, taking care of now, because now determines the future.
You see, the point is that if we have been looking at the now so much that we've not been making enough. I really wish that during Goodluck Ebele Jonathan's administration, he had enough ends to carry out all of those policies. Then he had enough ends. Yes, a lot of people who are talking about the subsidy removal now, they were still part of the people who had that conversation then that the subsidy should not be removed. I really wish that he had enough ends then to remove it, because then it by now we would have been enjoying something more
Can I
sustainable
tell you
on the
something?
long run.
You see, when we have a leader, the kind of leadership we have with Jonathan is a leader that when the people talk, he listens. Yes, you want to do it. It was not the removal of the subsidy was not for his
But
interest.
don't you think if he was stubborn a little, like what we are in now, maybe it could have been sustainable
What
for
we
us
are
by now?
doing, what we are experiencing now is not a stubborn leadership. We're experiencing leadership that are selfish, leadership who do not care how, even if it goes to the point of the people dying. All right. Jonathan had this intention. Of course, his intention, before he mentioned he's planned it. This administration never planned for subsidy removal. If they planned it, you see, proper preparation prevents poor performances. All right. If this administration has planned it, if they had it in their agenda from the one, they would have mapped out strategies on how to carry it out, and it will not be so harsh on the people. All right. So Jonathan had this planned out, but because some people felt then that it was for his own selfish interest, they did all things to frustrate him, and because it was not for his own self gain, he had to heed to the people's cry. The people were stirred up against him, and because he was not doing it, his attention, his agenda then was not for his own gain. He had to listen. I'm trying to help people, and if you don't want, no problem. That was what he did. So, but we have some set of people now who because of their own interest, because of their own gain. So whether the people want it or not, when you are leading people, you should take their consent on some certain things. All right. So, and if you are going to take some stubborn decisions, sometimes you should know that yes, at least in a short while, the people will come to term that yes, this thing he did is what.
Yeah, that's
But
exactly
the
where
thing
we are coming
now,
into now.
okay,
Let's say now where we are now, we now decided to say, okay, the people don't want subsidy removal. Now let's continue to pay subsidy. The truth is that in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, in the next 15 years, a leader will still come that will still have to come and take the tough decisions. But what I'm saying here is that, you see, as a leader, leaders know the decision that they have to make per time. They will not only make the decision based on what the people want, but based on the need of the people.
Yeah.
But the flaws that me I'm seeing in this administration is that they are making decision based on the needs of the people, but they are not explaining to the people well enough to understand that they need that thing on the long run. So, like I said before, we have been hearing reforms, policies, all of these things. Those are the things that we are hearing about. But you are not explaining to the people categorically as regards what they stand to gain on the long run. So even the children, over 100 million children that we are fighting for, these children did not even know that on the long run, this is the end goal of all of these things that we are talking about. It is just like when you plant corn. It takes just 3 months for corn to come out. But when you are planting cocoa, you should expect your whatever, the
in
cocoa
2
to start
years,
coming out in 3 years and all of that. So there is no much explanation as regards what we stand to gain on the long run. What we have just been hearing is Vision 2030. What is Vision 2030 all about? You won't be there until 2030.
that is the point. That is the
So there
point.
should be enough clarity.
That is the point now, that you know, these people know that there is no how they're going to be there in 2030. And now, if at least as a leader, you should make your own impact. All right. While you're trying to, to leave a legacy or to set system that maybe, and we have this bad culture in our politics in Nigeria, that when you set up a thing, another administration comes, they will not continue.
Exactly.
We don't have a continuity system of.
So what me I'm saying is that the way Mr. President is doing it now, is doing it like a monarchical system, like the same setup that he had in Lagos, where he was able to put in others and others, and the stories that we have been hearing over and over again. But the truth is, like what you have just said, we are in a country where a new leader will come in with new ideas, with new strategies, and I feel like there's no how are we align with the other person, except for
there is no standard of governance.
yeah, exactly. Except for if what Mr. President is doing is that the same thing he did in Lagos, after him is going to put in somebody like him that is going to, except for that. But really,
sorry to cut you. Don't say he should put somebody like him.
no. It is just looking at it from different perspectives.
We should not look at it that way. Putting somebody like him. Are you enjoying the system? Personally,
you don't get it.
I get it.
You don't get it.
Okay.
I said except for if that is what he wants to achieve.
Okay. That will not be achievable anyway in this country, because this system is not favoring anybody. I keep on saying, whenever anybody is talking and is making reference to most vulnerable, everybody is vulnerable. Like currently, everybody is vulnerable. Businesses are closing down. Everybody is being affected. I use an example that when an environment is polluted, it does not affect some people and leave some people aside. So this policy that have been acknowledged by them to be harsh policies is affecting everybody, is harsh on everybody. So whatever the government is doing, it's so bad that he's saying that regardless of the hard effects on the people, they should still go on. So what is now the essence? All right. Now, see, honestly, when we have leaders who don't listen to the cry of their people, who is not moved by the pain their actions are bringing on the people they are leading, I don't see them as leaders. I see them as rulers. Because as a leader, you should be empathic. As a leader, you should feel the pain of your people. Sometimes you have a change of mind. Okay, there was a case in the Bible. A man received a message that he should prepare his house for he will surely die from God. And when the man cried to God, God sent the same prophet to go back and tell him, prepare, for he has given him. So God listens. Why is it that we human beings would not listen? You have a plan, fine. We don't know your heart. Your plan might be good, but currently the plan is choking the people. Do you want to choke them to death just because you want to actualize your aim? Just like you had intention of becoming restoring an old national item on if you are president, you have achieved that. So we don't know your intention, but for the fact that your intention, your plan is choking, or should I say, the way you are trying to carry out your plans is beginning to affect the people. You listen to their cry and see a way of going about these things, still achieving your aim, but without it being so harsh on the people. All right. If the interest of the people is what you have in mind, then you shouldn't choke them. That is what I want to say.
Yeah, definitely. So that's the point. As much as all of this vision 2030 that we are looking at, what we are seeing this administration doing is that they actually be planning for something that is not going to be achieved in the next few years. And because the next few years is not even guaranteed, one, you're not even sure if you will be the next sitting president. Yes, there's a way people plan, and they know they have all things in place. At the same time, you see, death is inevitable.
Sure.
It happens to people. We are not wishing Mr.
Nobody
President
knows
death.
when it will come.
Nobody knows when it is going to come. So for this reason, you do what you can do at the time that you can do it.
So that when you
never
leave,
can
people will
tell.
talk about you based on
Definitely.
what you
So you
did.
never can tell. So even if you have a goal to achieve on the long run, it is important as a leader that the first thing you do when you come into power is not to start giving policies, but to let the people into your vision. This is what I hope to achieve on the long run. And it is not just an explanation to different only some person. Let it be known to every of your followers. You say ensure that you take every measure possible to ensure that everyone follow you, get an hint of what you hope to achieve on the long run. So by the time you start making your policies, they would understand that the reason why we are seeing these policies is because of the end goal. But what we see happening is that Nigerians are yet to understand that this is the reason why we are going through this hardship. So the only song that you hear in the mouth of Nigerians is that we are suffering. The hardship is too much because they don't understand the kind of goal that you have that will warrant them to suffer this much. So maybe if Mr. President comes out to explain himself better beyond just cutting corners. That's what we actually say. You would say that, okay, I know this is difficult. The first lady is saying, I know this is difficult. They're saying the Senate president is throwing jabs. Times are hard. Anywhere you see food, make sure you eat. They are throwing those jabs, acknowledging the fact that there is hunger
hardship
in the land, but they are not addressing it directly. So when you want to address issues like this, you don't address them by cutting corners. You go straight to the point and hit the nail on the head, so that your people can know that, okay, the reason why I am going through this pain is because there is actually an end goal. Like you cited an example in the Bible. Jesus Christ is a perfect example. The reason why he was going to the cross, he could have actually told those people, call fire on those people. But because he knew that his death on that cross is going to save a lot of people, he bore the pain. That was the reason why he was going through that pain on the long run. Even some of his followers, when they did not understand him, when they wanted to arrest him and somebody cut off the hair of a soldier, he said, this is not what I came here to do. Reason with my vision. I have shared my vision with you. You should understand better. So he was cautioning those people. He explained his vision to them. But what we see happening is that there's no clarity as regards to the vision. Let me hear your final thought and we go to another story.
Well, what I have to say is goes to our dear president, his wife, the Senate president, and all the leaders. They should understand that the affairs they are managing, the affairs of this nation is not a private business.
Definitely.
If you are running a private business, you can keep your staffs in the dark. You don't want them to know your plan. All you just need to do is tell them what to do, how to do it. You don't. Sometimes even those that must achieve more will carry some of their staffs along on their vision, right? So putting the Nigerians in the dark and going about things regardless of how it's affecting the people, it's not an attribute of leadership, a good leader, because if the vision you are talking about is not for yourself, like the first lady will always say, my husband is rich, we are rich, you are not. Yes, that means the vision we are talking about is not for your family, is not for your children, is not for you, it's for the people of Nigeria. So the people need to be carried along. The people need to be alive to enjoy this your vision.
Yeah.
The people need to survive this hard time before talking about tomorrow. I said it. Now determines the future. So you cannot, because it's getting worse day by day. Nobody know why petrol is rising every day. Nobody know why the price of petroleum is rising every day in Nigeria. Nobody know why so many things. Currently now there is a new tax that is about to be enforced by November 10. You know, so many policies that is affecting the people, and you say you are not responsible. No, you will always be held responsible if you are not accountable,
Yeah.
if your policies, if your way of working is not open. You know, accountability clears, it kills doubt. Accountability making, it saves you from talking too much. All right. So I'm saying that this man saying the federal government should go ahead and carry out their reform policies, agenda, regardless of, is not speaking from Nigeria. He is not here. You cannot tell how painful in a situation is if you are not in that situation
Mm.
yourself. You can only be telling somebody, sorry, I feel your pain. But truly, only that person knows how painful that situation is. So please, this system can be achieved. The policy, I mean the reform system can be achieved. But in mathematics, we have board mass. An equation, there are equations you use, subtraction method or addition method, depending on the equation. So if I don't know the system, the method they've been using that is making the thing to bite so hard on the people, they can try another system. They can try multiplication system. They can try any other system that will ensure that while they are going about carrying and executing their plans, the people are not weeping.
Yeah,
Because currently
definitely.
the Nigerians are being squeezed.
Definitely. All right, this is all we'll be able to take on this segment. We'll be going on a quick break now. And as soon as we get back, we'll dive into another conversation that will interest you. Please do well to drop in your comments in whatever platform you're watching us on. Stay with us, we'll be right back.